Gustav, what are you doing?
Pretty silly dog.
Well, there's a little Gustav time for you here. Little Gustav action. Where are my sunglasses? Hold on a second. It was cloudy when I left and now it's sunny enough. Certainly to justify a little bit of that. There we go. The selfie cam enabled me to notice that they weren't on top of my head. Anyways, it's time to switch cameras. We've been shooting on the iPhone 11 Pro for quite a while now, and now I'm gonna jump onto the Mi 10. If you've never heard of a Mi 10 before, don't worry, neither have I. Ironically, there's a giant ad for the phone here in the Marais. Go for a phone that you feel like at least you've never heard of and maybe other people haven't either. Well, they beat me to it, I guess. Now we have heard it. I don't even have it. I'll get it this afternoon though. I decided I'd go for one of the very high rated but less expensive Chinese phones that I literally never heard of before. And then I had a couple of friends who ran into this phone, the Jacom, I think it was the Mi 9, while they were in Sardinia, and they were raving about the camera. And I was like, you know what, why not? Let's choose that one. So I ordered it on Amazon. Supposedly it arrived at the chateau yesterday. So let's go pick it up and unbox it and yeah, talk about the experience so far between the iPhone and the Samsung, and you know what I'm kind of curious about with the Chinese one. I was gonna go see the Eiffel Tower this afternoon with a friend who's never been before, but the problem is that the weather supposedly this evening is gonna be a terrible, and you don't really want to go up the Eiffel Tower if it's gonna be like wind and rain in your face. So I opted not to do that tomorrow, but we'll do it sometime soon. The main reason that I want to go back to the Eiffel Tower, I never want to go up the Eiffel Tower again, ever in my life. That's just, you do it once, maybe twice, that's plenty. But there's a Space Invader at the very top now, so I have to get up there. Like I have to go one more time. So one more time I will go. And I'll go with somebody who's never been, and that way we get the experience of somebody who's never experienced it, as well as my like moments. This time I have my key. That's not the concern. I just don't know if the package is here or not. And I think she's at lunch. I may have timed this really poorly. So this is awkward. I gotta work on my whole like package recovery skill, because it's a skill that apparently I haven't fully developed, and you'd think at this point as an adult human being, maybe I'd be able to at least pick up a package on time. I think it's here. There's so many complicated steps to getting packages, just in general, I guess. I don't know if this is a thing just for France or in general, but I seem to just have a lot of trouble with it. I am really happy with the iPhone. So there have been a lot of comments. I appreciate all the comments. Keep them coming. Whether you like the iPhone footage better, the Samsung footage, the next phone's footage, whatever it is, I'm happy to hear your thoughts. It's really interesting because there's a lot of like divergent opinions and a lot of people are perceiving things very differently. And I think that keeps it very interesting because, well, partially because everybody's also fessing up to their own biases. Just like I fessed up to my bias that I came into this probably, you know, predisposition towards the Samsung just because I've worked with Samsung a lot. And I haven't had an iPhone for 5 or 6 years, or I don't even know when the last time I had an iPhone was. But I'm really enjoying the iPhone. And there's something about the iPhone that like, I want to be in the club, you know what I mean? Like I want to be in the garden, the walled garden of Apple, where everything just works together well. And I know it's not without its problems, and I know that iPhone and Apple stuff's not perfect, but it's also really expensive, and I'm not sure that I want to fall into that. However, I really enjoyed using this, and I will say that ever since my buddy Jeff sent me a message reminding me that the Apple Watch exists, I'm pretty intrigued. I'm not gonna lie, I'm like really intrigued by this. I'm looking forward to seeing the side-by-side video when I put all three of these to the test together, but my impressions initially right now, and some of them I'm sure about, some of them I'm not so sure about. One is that the low light doesn't do as well on the iPhone, especially with the wide-angle lens. The wide-angle lens, whenever I turned it on in the catacombs, like it was immediately a stop darker at least, if not more, I don't even know for sure. So seeing it in action, like in darker places, like lose so much light was a little bit discouraging, but and the other thing about the camera that I'm not sure I'm as big of a fan on, I love the telephoto on both cameras. I really like that it's a 3x telephoto on the Samsung, and this is only a 2x telephoto. And you can always zoom in more, but then you get into digital zooming and so forth. And unless I'm missing something, that's just not, it wasn't as impressive, but it is still a really nice feature. And there are elements to it where like moments I feel like the stabilization is better, and other moments I feel like it's worse. So I've had a lot of like mini observations, and after getting through the initial pain points of getting this set up and, kind of just getting started with it, I've really enjoyed using the iPhone a lot. And I think that's the thing. It's like that trick of the brain there. It is very well designed, and there's just something about it that makes you want to use it more. That is obviously appealing because it makes you want to use it more. So I'm gonna wait. We're gonna see how this last phone goes. I'm gonna do some comparison stuff. I'm gonna start doing some live streams. I'm gonna try and do all 3 live streams this week, maybe. My patrons voted on where they wanted me to do live streams. And so I think Père Lachaise, Montmartre, and there was one other that won. Those 3, I'm gonna do them kind of just randomly. I'm not gonna give them to any given phone. Maybe I'll even do a random number generator and go. And maybe I won't even tell you which phone it is until the end. We'll see how it goes. But I'm looking forward to just kind of playing with them, seeing how they are. I want to be honest that I'm a little bit biased against Apple products just because I always have been to some degree, but I also am strangely biased towards them in the sense that but I also kind of want to have one. I want to use it. I like it. And I'm tempted from the outside to be a part of the club. So I don't know. We'll see what I decide. What I have decided though, I think more than anything, I might just return all the phones because... Yeah, I might just return all the phones initially because like the new iPhone is coming out in like a month maybe. So it makes no sense to spend like top dollar for an outdated phone. Same with the Samsung. Like if I'm going to keep that, I might as well get the one notch up that exists already that I missed. And then we'll see what happens with the Jacom as well. It is also not the top version of itself, but it's pretty good. It's really funny that there was a giant ad for it today, and I was like, how is it that I'm not enough of a phone nerd to know everything that's going on out in the world? If you're interested to know how I'm looking at the camera ratings for an objective link, you can go to DxOMark, and those guys, they try to be as independent as possible, and they're actually based here in Paris, and they do a pretty good job. And I know somebody that works for them. I didn't know he worked for them until recently, but I've been checking their scores to see where things line up, and so that's an interesting place to look as well. I have to go. I'm gonna be right on time if I leave here in a minute. I gotta go to therapy. Oh, she's gonna be late, so perfect. I've got plenty of time. I gotta go to therapy. But Ken Marquez, thanks for being my patron producer today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here, and thanks to all my patrons. I've got a lot of thoughts. I feel like I've been going through an interesting time in my life. The big thing that happened a couple months ago, maybe even longer now, that was really, really threw me off for a long time, might be coming to a pseudo conclusion. It's not going to be a conclusive conclusion, if that makes any sense, but I think it's at a point where I have to make some decisions, and that means that I'll be able to tell you about it soon. I've just been going through some really weird stuff that comes to the territory, and I always knew was going to be a part of this lifestyle. But yeah, it doesn't mean I don't have to deal with it. And I haven't been sharing it because some of it's a little bit sensitive, but also because I'm not exactly sure how to share it. And I want to figure that out because one of the things that I really, really like about doing this, about vlogging, has been developing an ongoing dialogue and being able to share kind of anything. And obviously there's some things that I can't or shouldn't share just because that's, I'm not giving you my social security number. But at the same time, there's an ongoing dialogue that I want to make sure to cultivate, and I want to find the right way to do it. And so I'm going to invite you into that soon, not to be too tantalizing. I know I've been doing a lot of teaser stuff lately. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. But I also want you to know that I'm thinking about you and that I want to include you in it. And I want to be able to share these stories and what's going on and the burdens and so forth. But yeah, I just don't want you to think that I've forgotten that you're there, and I'm just figuring out how and when to share it. But I know I need to, so I'm going to here soon. As for today, it's a really rainy bleh day outside, which is actually really nice. I love Paris in the rain, and I'm really excited for a little bit of rain, especially after the heat wave. So I'm gonna go out and enjoy it. So I've been seeing a therapist for the last, I don't even know how long it's been now, since before the pandemic. So I mean, maybe we're even getting close to a year. Nah, probably something more like 9 months, which has been really good. And I feel like we're actually getting somewhere, which is on other subject matter that maybe I can share at some point. And then I've got a doctor's appointment after that this afternoon. It seems like the throat might be very rare. Thanks to everybody who left comments. There are like two or three that left comments. It's like a very rare form of acid reflux where the acid actually gets into your vocal cords. And so my doctor, I went and saw an ENT, and the doctor put me on whatever this stuff is. pantoprazole. It's a prozole of some sort. Anyways, I'm on that right now, just trying to see if that helps. It seems to be. Obviously, if this doesn't do the trick, I'll have to make some real dietary changes too. But the theory is that you give it 30 days and it kind of resets itself. And it seems like we might be on the right track for that. So that's good. But I still have I kind of banged up my knee and my ankle, and I have to get a booster shot on a vaccine and, a bunch of stuff like that. So I'm going to see the doctor today, get an update there, and then, just get some work done. So I probably will leave you here. It's a very simple, straightforward pseudo couch vlog today with a little bit of Gustav footage, which is great. And of course, if I do get this phone, I'll unbox it after all my appointments. And so you'll see that after this. So if the time code's still got time on it, then there's a phone at the end of this. If the time code doesn't have time on this left, it's a sad day in good old Paris. Not that sad. Anyways. Either I will see you shortly for an unboxing, or I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for probably an unboxing. Let's see what happens next.